let's take a look at lesson 1.3, your turn number 1. So we have 4 problems here, and in the directions it says to do at least one of the problems using a number line. So let's use part A, -7 minus 2, and let's use a number line to model this problem. So here's my number line. And my first number tells me I'm going to start at -7. So I'm going to make my number line where this is -7, -8, 9, -10. We'll make that -6. So I'm going to start at -7, put a dot there. And because I'm subtracting 2, I'm going to go to the left 2 places. So 1, 2. So I'm ending right here at -9. So -7 minus 2 equals -9. And now for this one, B, -1 minus -3. So this one, I'm going to use counters, and I'm just going to mark them. This is a negative, and then I will mark a positive counter with a positive or a plus sign in the middle of that counter as well. So for part B, I'm starting with a -1, and I'm taking away from that 3 negatives. But I'm starting with 1 negative, so I can't take away 3 negatives yet. So what I need to do is add in 0 pairs. So I'm going to add in a 0 pair. And a 0 pair is 1 negative and 1 positive. And the reason why we call that a 0 pair, a pair is 2, and these 2 counters here have a value of 0 because they cancel each other out. So that's called a 0 pair. And I'm going to add in another 0 pair so that in total I have 3 negatives that I can take away. So there I have my other 0 pair, but now when I look at this problem, if I'm starting with 1 negative and I'm going to take away 3 negatives, I actually have the 3 negatives that I can take away. So I'm going to draw a line through them to show that I am taking them away or getting rid of them. So I'm getting rid of my 3 negatives. And what I'm left with is 2 positives. So my answer here is a positive 2. And in part C, 3 minus 5. And we know that we can also rewrite these. So I'm going to rewrite this by adding the opposite. So the first number stays the same. My subtraction becomes addition. And then I'm going to look at the opposite of the second value. So this integer here is a positive 5. And the opposite of that is a -5. So the equivalent problem here is 3 plus -5. And I know that there are more negatives, or -5 has the greater absolute value than the positive 3. So I know that my answer is a negative, and then I simply subtract the absolute values to get 2. So my answer is -2. And finally, D, -8 minus -4. So in this case, I'm going to also rewrite it, -8.
Or a piece of paper so that you can kind of log your questions. And that way.
-8 plus the opposite of -4, which is a positive 4. So I've got -8 plus 4, which equals -4. And there you have it, your answers for your turn number 1.